Hey, welcome back, knife nerds and everyday care people. It's your boy, the Big Canucker here, and got myself a tool that I want to talk about today. I've had to use it over the last little bit. So far, surgery's booked for October 25th, so I'm madly trying to get some stuff done before I have to go under the knife and I'll be totally useless. So I was getting my trailer ready to winterize it and shut down the campsite, and there's just a hot tub had to be all... I know it's first world problems, and I know, but I don't want to whine and bitch and complain. I want to talk about an awesome little tool here, and that's what we're going to talk about. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about this. We've got a awesome knife giveaway happening here. So just to give you guys a heads up, I've emailed, went back and forth with YouTube quite a bit to try to get my entire subscriber list so I can do a draw that way. And right now, I guess it's up to you guys. So what I'm going to do is on Friday is going to be the shutoff. So if you look at this and you check to see if your subscription is visible, then you'll be put into the draw. Even if you want to shut it down after on Monday or something, but if you want to be included in the draw, because I mean, I've had some people say just do a video and do a comment picker, but I want it to go to a subscriber. And that's what I said from the beginning, so I will try to do it that way. It's going to be very, very, very manually intensive for me to take all those names and hand put them in a spreadsheet, but that's what I'm going to do over the weekend. So Friday is going to be the cutoff day. I'm going to download my subscriber list, and then I'm going to put it in a spreadsheet, and then it looks like probably early next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday, I will do the draw, and we'll get this we'll get this Scout sent off. Beautiful, gorgeous knife. Thank you very much to Patrick Anderson, who donated this to the channel as a giveaway. This thing is absolutely a fantastic knife. So that's going to be going to some lucky subscriber. Remember, Friday's the cutoff, so if you're not a subscriber, push the subscribe button, and hopefully you'll win this. The only person that is going to be taken out of it on purpose is Patrick, who said, do not include me in this draw, because if I won it, then I would just be he'd feel like an idiot. So, thank you so much, Patrick. You're not in the draw, buddy. All right, so what we want to have a look at today is a multi-tool that I've had a chance to use quite intensively over the last little bit. And let's have a look at the hits. We'll have a look at the misses and everything in between. All right, this is the Leatherman Free P4. Let's go to the tabletop, and we'll have a look at it right now. All right, so, damn phone, just shut off phone. Yes, that's my ringtone. All right, Leatherman Free P4 tabletop now. All right, so really like this. So I ended up getting this free. Pre-owned, and it's you know what, it came to me virtually brand new, and I've actually had a really good chance to really use this quite a bit, and then we'll have a look over. So just to quickly go over some specs here, where is my specs here? As far as the closed length is 4.25 inches, the open length is 6.45 inches, and then your braid lengths are just under 3 inches at 2.76 inches. Now the weight, which is the fantastic thing, is 8.6 ounces. The width is 1.3 inches, and the overall thickness is 0.68, which is a little higher than half an inch. Now what that means is, let's compare it to some other things here. All right, so we've got here your Leatherman Wave, which is going to be your kind of your best, I think, your most compared against multi-tool, other than perhaps here the Spirit X2 as well. So these are the Victorinox Spirit X. This is the Leatherman the Leatherman Wave. Then of course you've got your Free. Now what I really like about this is I like the fact that it is thinner than this one, and especially thinner than the Surge. Now, and that is going to be the Leatherman Surge. So you can see how much size the Surge has over the Leatherman Free and the Leatherman Wave. Now we won't do a head-to-head comparison on these ones yet. That's coming down the road. We'll definitely do some head-to-head, because I know that there is some wonderful things that we can talk about that they've improved, and some things that they may not have improved. But we'll go over that here in a coming up video. I just want to give you guys an idea of the size, and what we'll do here is we'll quickly go over the size, the opening size too as well. So of course we've got the Victorinox, We have got the Leatherman Wave. We have got the Surge right here. And you can see here, we'll give them right at the bottom so you can see here the size of them. And then, of course, we've got the Free. And we'll put that right inside there. You can see now the size. Now, you're very similar to the Wave. It's a little bit longer. It's very similar to the Victorinox. And, of course, the big Surge really dwarfs it. And, I mean, hello, this is the ultimate Leatherman here as far as I'm concerned right now. But, I mean, I really like this Free P4 as kind of a everyday carry. I believe that it could probably take the place of a knife. And that's just because of this pocket clip, and I think how thin, you know, and it is quite a bit lighter than the Wave at 8.6 ounces. But let's go over the tools here. Now, the one thing about this here is the reason they call it the Free is it's actually a magnetic. It's got a couple of magnets here in the base of the handles, and it allows you to kind of flip this open one-handed. And then there you'll be able to use it kind of one-handed. So if you're holding something and you need to flip it open, that is the big thing on this. How you can open and close it here one-handed. And you've got these magnets here in the base. Now the magnets here have got little plastic covers over top of them, so it just, I think, decreases the breaking strength on the magnets there a little bit too as well. Now, as far as tools are concerned, of course, you're going to have yourself a Wicked knife, which is right here. And the one thing you'll notice about this knife here is the fact that the knife blade sticks out. So when you if you're having to grab this in the dark and you're feeling around for it, you know that the one is the bump with the knife, and then it pops open. And it, of course, has got this little bit of a slot here, which is it's great for one-handed opening. It's very smooth. And it's a redesigned blade here too, as well with a deep hollow grind sheep's foot blade. And it looks like it'll be fairly simple to sharpen too as well. No huge belly on it, but it does have enough belly that it can be a nice little slicer. 420 HC, so I mean, it is not super steel, but it is something that can, I think, take the place of a pocket knife if you need to, and it'll cut just about anything out there. Just the edge retention isn't going to be something like, S30V or 154, CPM 154, or, some of those real high-end super steels, M390. Nothing like that, but it is a good, solid, tough steel. Don't forget that. Now, your other outside tools here, you've got, of course, your sheep's foot blade, and they're actually locking too as well. All your tools are going to be locking on here. You've got a redesigned serrated edge, which is really nice too as well. On this side, you have got a really nice pair of scissors. And then here you've got yourself a wood saw. Not the longest wood saw out there, but it is enough that if you need to cut something, a branch or notch out something, I think you're there. So now let's go over these here a little one by one. All right, we'll close this up. So we went through the knife blade. So this serrated edge here, it is a chisel ground serrated edge with some nice serrations. I mean, Leatherman does a good job with her serrations. And you've also got here a sharpened edge that would work out to be, it's a decent little scraper. And it's also can be in a pinch a little bit of a crimper too as well. But I know that these serrations, they'll cut through cardboard really nice, and as well as rope, because the other day I did have to do a little bit of rope cutting, and I also had to do some cutting on some drywall, and I used this to notch on this drywall. I ended up having a leak in my ceiling in my bedroom, and it was soggy, awful drywall, and I used this to fix a lot of it. And so far, it's performing like a champ. All right, let's go over to this side here. You've got your saw, and your saw length here is. Let's have a quick look here. I don't think it's super long. Specs, do we have that on here? No, we don't. But I mean, I suppose I could get it's probably, well, what do we got here for your so 2.76 inch long, same as your knife blade. It's enough that it'll, you can cut through 2x4 in a relatively quick time with this. I did use this saw here to cut through a bunch of drywall, and it did a fantastic job. And I ended up cutting up against a stud, and it started to cut into that stud really easily, so there's no worries about that. All right, over here, got a nice large pair of scissors. Now you'll see it's not engaged. If this stays closed, it's not engaged. As soon as you pull this, and then it seems like it clicks into position, and then it flies open, then you know that your scissors are engaged. So if you ever pop your scissors open and they're stuck like that, just give them a little click over, they'll drop into place, and then it'll open up too as well. And these scissors are really a nice little pair of scissors. They're quite a bit bigger than the scissors that are on the Wave, and they do a fantastic job. If they're any sort of scissors like they've made in the past, they're absolutely fantastic. And you can see, yes, and that's the mark of a good pair of scissors is, not if it'll cut here at the base, but if it'll cut at the end. And you can see that it'll cut this paper no problem. So it is, a nice finely ground pair of scissors. And we'll pop this back in here too as well. All right, so now not all the P4s came shipped with a clip. This one happened to be, so I have used this as nothing but a straight EDC for the day tool, and I found that this is actually fairly comfortable, especially when I was wearing jeans. I had no problems with these in jeans. Now I wore a pair of shorts, and then it was still okay. I put a pair of sweatpants on, put these on there, and it was a little too heavy, and it just kind of didn't seem to sit as nice as some of the thinner blades were. So sweatpants, I don't know, jeans, this could be used as a EDC, especially at 8.6 ounces. All right, so now let's have a look at the outside tools too as well. Now the outside tools, you'll see you've got them all lined up here on with this pin. Now the outside tools have got this little bar here, so you can actually just click them open one-handed too as well. Oops, I'm sorry. There. So outside tools on this side, you've got two relatively fairly bulky, thick, how should I say, bulky's not the right word, but they're very, very tough. I mean, you've got a lot of meat behind these two tools here. And so what you have here is you've got almost like a 3D, I guess would see kind of like a 2D Phillips, but it's got a lot of meat to it, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. And then you've also got a nice a bottle opener on this side, and this is a really, really interesting tool too as well. You've got a lot of things that are on this tool. You've got a kind of a scraper too as well. You've got a flat Phillips, and then you've got here, this is a little bit of a I guess they call it kind of a box opener. You can use this in there. It's sharp enough that it'll cut into some of that plastic, and it'll, a lot of these clamshell packagings are absolutely awful, and you don't want to cut what's inside there and use your knife blade or your serrated blade. So you can use this to kind of just get in there and just pull along a seam, and it'll open it up just like butter. So now, like I said, all these tools here are also magnetic in place, where they lock into place with a magnet. They've also got their locks here too as well. So you just pull that back with one finger or two finger, and then drop it in just like that. So now your other side here, the nice thing here is they'll all pop out at once, and especially when you're using it one hand. You can pop these all out using your one hand. Like you can see how you can just, with your thumb pad, press it down in there, they all pop out, and then you can actually fan them out and pick the tool that you want to use. And so what you have here for tools here on this side is you've got yourself a really, really nice can opener here too as well. We'll push that back there. We'll open up the rest of this stuff here. Can opener. You've got yourself an awl with a sewing needle. This little sewing eye too as well. And it's also a very small, flat bit too as well. And this does have, it's fairly sharp. Now, do I want to use this as maybe for your eyeglasses? I guess in a pinch you could, but I think I would probably look at sharpening this a little bit more if I'm going to use it as an awl, as kind of a drill awl. And especially if you're doing any sort of leather work continuously, you definitely want to sharpen this up a little bit and get rid of the functionality of having it as an eyeglass, a very small screwdriver. And then of course here you've got your here, we'll close that up. You've got a medium-sized Phillips with a wire stripper, and you can see how they've got the wire stripper notch right here. And if you look on the other side, you can see where you've got the wire stripper painted on there with the little symbol. And then, of course, you've got inches and centimeters. It's a 1-inch ruler, and I don't know what that is. 2 centimeters. Really, I mean, I think if they wanted to make this even a little bit more functional, inch on that side, centimeters on the other side, and then at least it's a little bit more functional. I don't know what you're going to measure with this. I mean, I guess you could, oops, let me close it up. I guess you could go like that. if you had to, I suppose. All right. And then we'll close this up here too as well. Now, this here is a really, really quite good set of needle nose pliers. Now, Leatherman says, excuse me, Leatherman says that this is their strongest set of pliers ever. And, who am I to argue with them? But I did notice that when this was open, and this plier head may be incredibly tough, but there seems to be a little bit of side-to-side movement in these. Now, I don't know if that's just the design here of the way this is designed, being so free. That is one of the sacrifices of having that kind of flip open design. It didn't seem like that there was any sort of like it was weak or anything like that. I mean, when you're pressing on it, I mean, the tool feels very, very solid. It just seems that little bit of side-to-side movement is a little bit disconcerting. I mean, not too often that you're going to be twisting, but I think if you are going to be twisting, maybe that's where you could have a little bit of a failure point. Where the other ones here, like I said, I don't want to do a crazy head-to-head, but on this Wave, there is nothing there. It's rock solid the way that's designed. So that's just something to be maybe perhaps a little bit concerned about. Who knows? I haven't seen anything online or any videos where people are talking about these things busting or breaking, that it's an incredibly weak point. It's just something to keep an eye on and down the road. All right, so you've also here got your hardwire cutters here, 154 cm cutters, and then of course you've got your crimpers here for your electrical connector crimper here in the back, which is really, really handy as a matter of fact. And I gotta say that these pliers, these needle nose pliers, are very, very precise. You can see here, not that I have a whole lot of hair left, but you can actually pluck hair with these. And there, and it's no problem. So it will pluck a hair out. I'm just trying to grab one without hurting myself. There, you can see how it, I'm not sure you can see that, but it'll pluck hairs out. And so that's, I think, a mark of a good set of plier tips. So you can see where there's no, it's not misaligned, and they'll pluck a hair out. Then I think it's designed really, really well. Now, some of the issues I've had with this, as far as just overall use of it, it's a little bit tight for being kind of a pre-owned, that I expected that perhaps this was maybe used a little bit more. It still seems like it's a little bit tight, and I do notice that, once I have tried to use this one hand, I wish it would open just a little bit lighter. And there was the odd time there when, all of a sudden she'd fold forward like that. So I imagine that will kind of break into as well. Another issue I had here is, even though this is a very, very handy thing, it is a little bit of a hot spot in my hand. Because these are so thin that I will be probably using these in the pocket. Now, like I said, I bought this pre-owned. Now, it normally comes with a sheath that is similar to this, but it's gray. I didn't get one of those. All I got was just the knife in the box. So there was no sheath with mine. So would I carry the sheath? I might. I might just do that too as well. I've got an extra sheath that I think this will fit in, and I think I would probably carry it like that. The weight on it is so much nicer than a lot of the other Leatherman tools, so I think it would disappear on the belt. But like, it does disappear to a set of jeans in my pocket, so I have no problems worrying about something like that. Now, There we go. You can see how it can flip open just like that. Now, one of the other things from using this, and this is just my own observations, is looks like you've got a little bit of a flat area there. And you know what? You can probably use that just to knock on something if you want to open up some woods, which is really nice. But now, with working with this myself, I was a little bit concerned that with these things kind of being a magnet and being kind of precise, that I ended up getting a whole bunch of drywall, wet drywall, got smeared inside of this pivot area here, as well as the knife, the outside knives too as well, and their pivots in here. There was a whole bunch of drywall got put inside there, and I was concerned that once it kind of dried, it would kind of get in there and really make it, you know, just a little bit chunky or a little bit gritty, and I had no worries whatsoever. I ended up getting a whole bunch all over. I ended up running this kind of under just some water, rinsing it off and drying it, and putting a little bit of oil inside there, and no worries whatsoever. I was very surprised that nothing got inside there, but it doesn't completely leave me without a little bit of concerns based upon these magnets. Now, I don't work with you know, ferro metals or anything like that, where you got to worry about fine metal particles. So if you're working in a machine shop, or you know, a welder, things like that, where you're dealing with a lot of metal dust, I wonder how that's going to be once you've got a whole pile of shavings inside there, or especially here inside your pivot area here for your tools. You know, I think maybe time will tell with that too as well. I haven't seen, I know this tool's been out for a little bit. I'm a little bit late to the party with this, but I haven't seen a whole lot of chats about online or anything like that. But that's just kind of my concern with the magnets being in there. But other than that, I mean, I think this is a fantastic little tool. I've really enjoyed carrying it. It's going to be a hard thing to kind of, should I replace, you know, the Leatherman Wave with this or anything like that? Because definitely not going to replace the Surge, but we're going to do some head-to-heads on all these other ones here as well. Another little concern I had is it would have been nice to have you've got yourself your Phillips here instead of because you got a lot more reach here with this Phillips than you do the interchangeable bits. But I like the fact you're losing some. I like the fact of having an interchanging bit there. I would have done that. I think that would have added a whole lot more versatility to that. And then the other thing too as well, which I really didn't mention, which I should have mentioned, was this bugger here. You've got yourself a file. You've got yourself a one direction file here. Then you've got a bi-directional file here too. It's like a kind of a checked pattern. Here you got straight line pattern, but there's no little saw. It would be nice to have yourself a little bit of a pattern on the bottom. You know, you're not going to cut, you know, reams and reams and miles of, you know, of hardened steel with this, but if you need to kind of get into an area where you got to kind of notch something out, or do a little small cut, you know, this has been kind of handy to have, and some of my other tools to have a little bit of a saw there. And, you know, it's even the design here could have been just a little bit thought, I think, a little bit better. Still, it's nice to have a little bit of a file. Just wish they would have kind of done a little bit different. So, what would I rate this tool here? Just overall, the tool by itself, I'm gonna probably say this is a 7 out of 10. Despite liking the size and the weight of it, I just have a little bit of concerns with some unknown. You know, even though it is kind of you know, supposed to be kind of a very versatile tool with that kind of one-handed open, I can, you know, open the other tools one-handed too as well. I do like some of the redesigns they've made for sure. I just wish they would, you know, maybe they'll bring some of those redesigns forward on some of the, you know, the standards, the Wave Plus and the Surge 2 as well. So, the other thing I'm going to hit it for a little bit is a little bit more hot spots than some of the other tools. If you've got a pair of gloves on, it's not going to matter as much, but if you're working indoors and you don't have a set of gloves on, that's where I think it's going to hit you a little bit. And so that's those are a couple of my concerns and, you know, a couple of my hits. So are a couple of my misses. So like I said, this is going to get a 7 out of 10. And I've worked with this, I haven't worked with this, so long that I know this tool absolutely inside and out intimately. But, I've had this for a bit, and I've done some really, really, tough jobs with it. And it has worked fine, but I do notice that there's a little bit of some downfalls. All right, so thanks so much for stopping by, guys. Appreciate it. I hope you guys are staying safe out there. We're not out of the woods yet, so don't forget to keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker, saying adios.